that's cute.
The title screen shows you what case you're on.
Yeah.
It's spoilers if you clicked on this episode, I guess.
That's kind of like your fault if you did, though.
Yeah, that's true. Although the current YouTube meta is not to put the name or the number of the episode of your recordings.
God, I fucking hate that shit.
Do the Game Grumps even do that anymore? Do they number
I
their
don't
shit?
fucking I haven't watched them in years.
That's fair. Damn, 18 years.
One thing I
holy
do
shit.
like is I have the sponsor block extension, which, you know, like, people can say, like, hey, there's, like, a sponsor read from, like, you know, 1 minute 20 to 1 minute 40, and then it'll, like, auto-skip that for you. But what it also does is it lets people submit unclickbait titles. So, sometimes it sucks because it spoils something I actually wanted to find out in the video, but a lot of times it'll be helpful because instead of being like, this crazy thing happened, it'll be like, video game, episode 4, which is so much better.
Nice. I feel like the people you watch don't tend to clickbait. Does Northernline clickbait?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I don't watch
does
him on
it?
YouTube
Okay.
anyway, so I just watch Twitch VODs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Righto. Well, when last we left off, Cosma died. Oops.
Brew.
This happened.
That's right,
Also, this guy is still here. I forget. Hosonaga?
Hosonaga, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how I remembered that.
Which I'm very happy about because you'll recall that back in Trial 1, I was like, I hope this dude
Is the
sticks
gumshoe
around.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. Oh, that's how I knew. It says Hosonaga on his nameplate. Okay.
Of course.
It says NLRN, which in Ace Attorney means...
Northern Lauren. Yeah. I think we're heading to the next room over.
That we are. We're done with this room. So it doesn't matter that that was on the title screen. We're not here anymore. We're in the first class passageway. I hope I get to do court on the ship. Look at that mouse trap.
I think they were talking about docking somewhere.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hope there's just a different judge for every single case.
That would be funny.
Whew, I'm finally out of the cabin. I have to admit, this isn't quite what I was expecting. It's less spacious out here than I thought it would be. This is the most luxurious accommodation.
Yes, indeed. Kazuma-sama was being sent on the study tour by the government. That's why he was being put up in a first-class cabin. Even still, this is about twice as large as my accommodation in steerage.
Really? That must be awful. No worse than the fucking closet. Oh, look over there. There's another crewman keeping watch, and he looks enormous, even if he's sitting down. Duh.
The door next to him leads to the second-class accommodation. I suppose he's making sure that no one comes in here who shouldn't.
I suppose. Like people in handcuffs?
Naruhodo-san, you look like a little boy visiting a toy shop for the first time. I would have thought you'd be used to the ship by now. We've been at sea for 2 weeks already.
Well, yeah, I know. But the thing is, I was inside Cosmo's trunk when I first came aboard. And ever since then, I've been shut up inside that little wardrobe.
It must have been a very trying time for you.
Please don't give me that pitying look. And I promise that's not the reason I killed Cosmo. I mean, I didn't kill Cosmo.
Oi.
So, correct me if I'm wrong. How do I, like, change the camera? B. That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the party ball from Smash Brothers Melee on, like, a mice trap. Dun, 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 dun.
Does look a little like it, yeah. Ah, a trap for catching mice.
Yeah, we have plenty of these back home in Japan. Although they seem to be using a lump of chalk or something as bait.
Let me see. Yes, I think that's what it is called, cheese. It's made from the milk of cows.
Jeez. What would that taste like?
You can't eat it, Naruhodo-san. The trap will snap shut on your fingers.
Really? But... yeah, I suppose you're right.
You weren't actually going to try it, were you?
Well, I mean, all I've had to eat for the past couple of weeks is Kazuma's leftovers. You don't know how hungry I've been in that wardrobe.
This was really a shitty idea. Poor you. I'll find a little snack for you later.
Yes, snacks. First class cabin number 1. Yeah, that's our cabin.
Not our cabin. It's Kazuma-sama's.
Sorry?
Your accommodation is confined to the wardrobe inside the cabin.
You know how to make a stowaway feel small, don't you? As small as the wardrobe I've been calling home. But hey, at least my wardrobe was inside his room, you know. Where was your steerage?
Fuck you. These cabins are the finest on the ship. My own cabin in steerage is number 539, by the way.
That's a lot of peeps. 500 and... How many cabins are there? These are luxury liners. They have them. What do you think this is? It's a very pleasing shape, isn't it?
That's the emergency alarm. It's probably best not to touch it.
Oh, an alarm.
It says, press only in times of emergency. It looks as though it sets alarm bells ringing all over the ship and brings the vessel to a complete stop.
Oh, this I have to see.
What are you doing, Naruhodo-san? You mustn't touch it.
But this is an emergency situation. Just look at these handcuffs.
You know full well that's not what the alarm is for. If you were to bring this vessel to a standstill for no good reason, you'd be in an even worse situation.
Huh. I wish everything would just stop. This ship included.
If you have to do something foolish, at least make it something that doesn't affect anyone else.
I'm actually kind of impressed that there's like a nice thing that also stops the ship. Do cruise liners have that?
Probably not. Not one that, like, the passengers could just do.
Yeah, that sounds like a problem. Like, that's useful, because obviously people fall overboard all the time, but...
Mm-hmm.
This is it. This is the cabin next to ours, the one the ventilator connects to.
Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging.
Maybe whoever's in this cabin can solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. Duh. Alright, post the sticker.
Nah. Not really interested.
Oh, Benai. Excuse me, need to get inside this cabin here. She could flip him.
This sailor's eyes speak volumes. They're clearly saying, keep out.
That's, what we wrote on the sign we put over the wardrobe doors. Although this man's version is definitely more effective.
It doesn't look like he's going to let us pass.
Huh. Well, that's a problem. Da. Alright, what's the M? Oh, it's B and M, right.
Mhm.
This looks like a plan of the SS Buria. It shows each deck. Look.
The Buria is a large-scale steamship with a triple-skinned hull. What a marvel of engineering.
No, it's been playing in my mind for a while now, actually, but... How is it that such a huge lump of metal doesn't just sink to the bottom of the ocean?
Oh, that's really quite simple, Naruhodo-san.
It is.
Well, consider the Japanese archipelago.
The islands of Japan?
Yes, they're not metal, but they are enormous lumps of earth, many, many times larger than this ship. And they don't sink, do they? They've been floating happily on the sea since the gods created them.
Goodness gracious. Well, I suppose so. She's a sweet bean, don't tell her. That's a huge book on top of the table there, and there's a pen next to it.
Yes, that looks like the ship's log.
Shall we have a little look through it? Writing's so neat.
The writing is so neat and precise. Every detail about the voyage has been meticulously recorded.
Huh. You wouldn't expect a rough and ready sailor to have such beautiful handwriting. And nothing. No reaction at all. I thought he might appreciate the compliment.
I'm not sure that rough and ready is much of a compliment, Naruhodo-san, even to a sailor. Anyway, last night's log is mostly blank.
Presumably that means there was nothing to report. It's eerily quiet in this cabin. Hey, excuse
Yeah.
me, but could I ask you something? You little stowaway murderer. That wasn't a good start, was it?
All right, let me try instead. Good day, Mr. Sailor. I'm so sorry to trouble you, but could I perhaps ask something of you?
You little third-class latest mate.
Oh,
He's one of those. Seem to have caught the sailor on a bad day, Suzaru.
I am not a sailor. My mother gave me name. I am senior crewman Biff Stroganoff.
boys don't know this.
Only me, cause I have last name. I get pass.
Best thing is just to avoid eye contact, I think. Hey, Mr. Stroganoff, about this first-class cabin area.
Here we are at the finest part of British steamship. We're very important persons.
What sort of very important persons?
Government officials, kings and queens traveling in secret. Many important persons. That is why I'm always guarding this place.
Gosh, that's amazing.
But somehow I let stupid stowaway inside. I want to pick you up and throw you in the ocean. But Stroganoff is not animal.
Thank you.
If I may, I was wondering, is the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's currently occupied?
Da!
Hey, Suzato-san, do you understand that?
It sounded like da. I think it's probably Russian for yes. Or no.
Is it like Hawaii where it's both? Genius.
It is not permitted to visit other cabins without invitation.
Well, it sounds like there is somebody in the next door cabin at least.
Yes, it's tantalizing.
Last night. Hey,
Now there's gonna be some fucking shit that it references that we should have learned in the fucking passenger in the other cabin.
Yeah, I probably should have cooked that one. Hey, are you on watch here all the time, Mr. Seaman Stroganoff? Oh no.
Da, all time. So criminals like you can't come in. Or get out.
I wonder, could you tell us anything about last night at all?
It is sad about student boy.
We're gonna watch last night as well.
Of course.
1 second. Ah, there we go. And do you notice anything at the time? Anything unusual?
Hit!
You can't just call somebody that.
Suzato-san, do you understand that?
It was clearly a no.
I saw nothing unusual. Nothing at all.
And you didn't hear any strange noises or sense anything was wrong in some way? Hey, that's one of the faces for Inosuke.
I said, no.
Sorry. I'm not so sure. I could have sworn that he wouldn't catch my eye for a moment there. If you read his name as B-N-A-I, it's like Bill Nye. His
Wow.
placard, yeah. Could you tell us who's traveling in the cabin next to Mr. Asogi's?
His name is Mr. Grimsby Roylott. He is very important Western gentleman.
A Western gentleman.
Do not think about this. Nothing to do with murder of student boy. Promise.
How can you be so sure of that?
Mr. Roylott is authentic Western gentleman. Such a man would have no interest in lowly student from insignificant Far East Islands.
This is gonna be the whole game, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was harsh.
Could you tell us when Mr. Roylott came aboard?
That is not your business.
Come to think of it, even though we've been at sea for 2 weeks now, and I've been in Kazuma's cabin the entire time, I've never once heard anything from the next door cabin, or even felt like there's anyone there.
Well, presumably, since this gentleman is occupying one of the first-class cabins, he must be rather important. Is that right?
That is not your business. This is enough. I cannot say more now.
Oh,
It is time for me to report to Captain. You must return to cabin.
yes, alright.
Bulkhead to second class area, staying locked at all times. You escape when the lobster whistles on top of the mountain, or as the English say, when the pigs fly.
Yeah, I understand.
What did that mean?
Good. Now we can investigate this area properly, shall we?
Definitely. Alright. I don't think there's anything left to examine. The chair, I guess. It's probably not letting me through here.
That's the way to the second-class area of the ship. Is something wrong?
I was, thinking about making a bit of a run for it, just for a moment. Things, aren't exactly going well for me.
I might be wrong, but I imagine the moment you reach for the handle of the door, that burly seaman would surely shoot you dead.
I didn't see a gun. I think he just punched me out.
Oh dear, I'm sorry. Perhaps I went a little too far there.
No, I started with my talk of running away. And there's no way I could run away while Cosmo's death remains a mystery anyway. Alright, now I think we're good. To the door. This is it. I feel like every room you enter in an Ace Attorney game is either one of two things. It's either like a hoarder's house, or it's like one of those find the item games.
Yeah.
This is the cabin next to ours, the one the ventilator connects to.
Yes, the ventilator from which Kazuma-sama wrote that he saw a speckled band emerging.
Maybe whoever's in this cabin can help us solve that particular mystery. Let's ask. And there's no Stroganoff here to block us.
No answer. We're out of luck, it seems. There's no one in there to help with our inquiries.
Okay, let's just go back to Cosmo's room and sit on his bed, I guess.
Do you think it still smells like him?
I didn't check. How annoying. I should have checked. What was that? It came from inside the cabin. Insert scream sound effect here.
Such a high-pitched scream. It must have been a woman.
Stand aside. What did I do for Sholmes' voice again?
I don't know how to explain it. It's like I can hear it, but I can't explain it.
I'm about to break the door down. Something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Sure,
something
that's
like
what
that.
I'll do.
Mr. Sholmes!
I shan't be stopped. When the fit is on me, I revel in kicking doors off their hinges. Crikey, mate. I guess he's
Please.
Australian now.
Wait, Mr. Sholmes.
Maybe he was British. I don't remember what I did.
The door doesn't appear to be bolted.
It doesn't. And how the deuce can I dispatch this muscular edge? Why, pray, can I kick? Now I'm getting of a Cockney accent. I think we should go in. There's no time to be thinking about stress relief. Boot. The 9th of January. SS Buria. First class. Cabin number 2. Ah, yes, English gentlemen. Do you want to do them?
I can.
Yeah, you got this.
Who are you?
A Western gentleman. This
Oh,
man
he's
looks
not
Russian to
Russian.
me.
Oh, I know, yes, Russian,
We
okay.
heard a woman scream.
A woman, don't be absurd. As you can see, there's nobody but me in this cabin.
true. This old man does appear to be the only person in here. But in that case, who just screamed?
Get out, all of you, now!
Please excuse the intrusion, but you're Mr. Grimsby Roylott, I believe.
Grimsby Royal. Just trying to think of the name joke. Yes, that's me, and you are.
Maybe a play on like Grimm's fairy tales?
Maybe?
I'm the one and only, the actual Sherlock Holmes. You've heard of me, no doubt.
No.
I'm a great detective among great detectives, one who adorns the cover of popular magazines, known as. So I assure you, you may trust me completely.
This man uses that magazine like a business card.
A detective? I do not trust detectives.
Well, we distinctly heard a stream.
It's a stream emanating from within these walls. I think it was a
It was on
one.
Twitch channel.
What's Twitch? But there wouldn't appear to be a lady concealing herself within the wardrobe at this time. So might I be so bold as to ask you to open that small traveling case?
What? Don't be stupid. How could anyone fit in a small trunk like that?
Maybe their baby.
Well, it's quite fashionable these days, is it not? Traveling inside one's trunk.
Don't look at me, please. Oh my goodness. He's
Oh
secretly
my.
a genius.
Did you see that, Mr. Darahoda?
Yeah, the case just shook.
Leave now, otherwise I'll call the steward.
So this is Cosmo's neighbor, Mr. Grimsby Roylott. There's no doubt about it. This strange Russian man's hiding something.
I couldn't agree more.
I'm actually English.
Let's see if we can find some clues before that burly sailor returns.
Okay. Alright.
He's just chilling.
Just having a fit. Hey, Mr. Roylott, we'd like to talk to you about something.
No,
Oh,
I do not want to talk. Leave my cabin now.
this is going terribly.
We're not getting anywhere here.
Yeah, I agree. But there may be someone else who can help.
Probably wants you to...
That great detective could get somewhere with Mr. Roylott. I've investigated thoroughly, but I can't find anything out of this place. Even after checking every single nook.
Anything else or just the nooks?
Just the nooks.
What do you think you're doing? This is my cabin. Get out. Could we just have a quick look inside your traveling case, perhaps? No! Ah, what a pity. I think we're out of luck.
I think you're right.
There doesn't appear to be anything more we can do.
I agree. But there may be somebody else who can help. Perhaps that great detective could get us somewhere with Mr. Roylott. Alright, game. Okay, I see. Hey, got a moment, please, Mr. Sholmes?
You need only address me as Sholmes.
That's what I just did, isn't it? Well, Mr. Sholmes, what were you doing in there?
Why, I was resting, of course.
Resting?
Indeed. I was contemplating a sea voyage from the confines of the wardrobe whilst waiting. Waiting for the inevitable time that you would need me to call my great powers for detection into service.
Oh!
And it would seem that the hour's upon us now. The time has come. Am I mistaken?
Well, no, actually, you're spot on.
Bless
For
you.
once. I didn't hear Alice sneeze that time.
Observe closely.
Oh, no, I
Bless
heard it.
you.
Bless you.
Our Russian host in his cabin, Mr. Roylott's clearly trying to hide something. And do you know what is the most effective weapon to use against a Russian hiding a secret? A
plate of beef stroganoff?
Why? Oh.
The truth, of course. Though it should be pointed out that such methods are not exclusive for the Russians. Right. Can you imagine how the Russian would react when the secret he guards so closely is exposed? Would you like to witness it?
Oh, yes, please. I love tutorials.
Well then, what are you about to see may well astound you. For I'm about to apply my great detective's abilities, admired great deduction, to the case.
Greatly admired. My goodness, I'm having problems with his dialogue right now.
Could this man be a more hackneyed portrayal of a dubious Russian, I ask you?
That's a bit of a stereotype.
What? Fuck you.
From time to time it occurs to me. Is the fellow dubious on account of his Russianness, or Russian on account of his dubiousness?
That's kinda... You can't say that, man.
There's a lot of these lines in this game. My goodness. I really don't think either of those things should be occurring to you. Or anyone.
That's right. And Mr. Sholmes... I know this man's beard and dark glasses are hard to ignore, especially on first meeting, but I once read, "It is a capital mistake to theorize before you have all the evidence. It biases the judgment."
I have complete silence.
What are you doing? Why are you peering at my face like that?
Ah, just as I thought. Yeah, I have quite made up my mind now.
Hmm?
There can be no other explanation that accommodates all the facts. Mr. Roylott, I have reached two incontrovertible conclusions.
What do you mean?
Number one, your true identity is that of a villain. Using those shears, you're about to end the existence of something most dear. Are you not?
Huh?
And number two, the other conclusion I've drawn. You are, at this very moment no less, in the midst of committing a most grievous crime. Beneath that beard, your mouth quivers with nervous tension as you realize you've been discovered.
Well, I am the one holding a weapon, and you are not, so...
Am I not holding a weapon?
That is a banana.
Banana knife.
Og. Oh, Naruhodo-san! I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes.
That was a great deduction, huh?
Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person.
What an ineffable twaddle.
Oh yes, I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. And now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his great deduction firsthand. This is like a dream come true.
Isn't the guy you love dead?
Kill yourself.
I can hardly believe it, but all the colors drained... Oh wait, I can hardly believe it, but all the colors drained from Mr. Roylott's face. Looks like somehow both of Mr. Sholmes' conclusions were right.
How could you?
How could I possibly know such things, you wish to say? Very well then, I shall elucidate. I shall explain how it was that I arrived at this pair of conclusions. So I do cordially invite you upon a journey of logical discovery. Let us board the train of reasoning. Choo-choo. Put plainly, let us work through my deductions together. So, the dubious-looking Russian Mr. Roylott, obviously what catches the eye in the first place.
This is amazing.
Is the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away your copious beard, you sport. Now, moving on. The question then begs this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of that magnificent beard, Mr. Royland? Once again, the answer's plain. We have clear evidence to shed light in the matter. Regard, if you will, this morning's newspaper, in particular the fascinating front-page article, which it would appear you have read also, Mr. Royland. I'm sure it needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. In translation, the headline reads, Revolutionary villain Bolshevik flees Russian via Shanghai, my goodness. As you cannot fail to observe, the subject of the article possesses an extremely copious beard. Having noted the article yourself, you decide to remove your incriminating facial hair, for it gave you away. In short, your true identity is beyond doubt. You are the fearsome Russian revolutionary himself, villain Bolshevik. Not that I've heard of you myself. You understand? Oh, but we're not done yet. Now, as for my second conclusion. You are, at this very moment, on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And the proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Mr. Royland. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see.
Ah.
And I assure you, the eye speaks so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. It is time, I think, that the case be opened and its contents laid bare.
No, I refuse.
What could you possibly be concealing inside, we ask? By my estimation, a young lady, perhaps. One slight enough to fit therein.
Don't be absurd.
And what, pray, would be the identity of this young lady in the traveling case? Dear me, we are not well suited to a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'état betrays you. Coup d'état? Is that it?
It's closer. I don't actually know what it exactly is, but it you put a B sound in there.
Coup d'état?
Yeah, something like that.
It's similar to coup d'etat, but it's not quite the same.
Coup d'oeil, maybe? I don't know.
Be right back. Alright, I'm back. I had this conversation with Zuper that I'm convinced that they do laundry 4 days a week, and I wasn't always just like laundry day didn't coincide. No, they just do it like half the days of the week. Anyway, once again, we need only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yeah, the reason you refuse to open your traveling case can equally be found in the pages of this newspaper. For there is another, more stimulating article. If we turn from the fleeing revolutionary to the back page, renowned prima ballerina of the Nouveau Riche of the Nova Viche ballet disappears from Shanghai. Such a headline can lead us but to one conclusion. Your crime is that of an abduction. And according to the article, the young lady's name is Nikolina Pavlova. My goodness. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this Russian enigma, Elemensky. Susato? That, was not one of the greatest deductions I've been hearing so much about, was it?
Well, the stories are full of Mr. Sholmes' brilliant deductions, you know. But that did seem a little different somehow.
Hey, excuse me, Mr. Sholmes? Could you come over here for a moment? Pray, what can I do for you? It's about your deductions, bud. Would you mind? Not at all. Go on. Well, to start with, there's the newspaper article. I think we had the same discussion before, but these two men look nothing like each other. Oh, yes. I recall a discussion earlier. And at the time, I believe I told you that the man is a revolutionary. Well able to revolutionize his own appearance.
In fairness to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylott does look more like this man than you do.
I suppose. That's not really the point. And another thing, the part about him abducting the ballerina. Indeed, truly startling revelation. At first glance, the case would appear too small to accommodate a young woman. Not just at first glance, it is too small, clearly! You'd be looking to fit a 5-year-old child in that case, even if you pushed really hard!
I don't suppose the missing ballerina is a 5-year-old child, is she?
You mean you don't know? No, the young lady's 15. No, I didn't know. How could I?
Well, if she's 15, then 10 years worth of her would be poking out from the case.
Some years ago, I read something pertinent, I believe. A troop of men consuming vinegar daily in order to promote a certain litheness in their bodies. Vinegar? For such a sour bunch, it would surely be simplicity itself to contort oneself into the confines of that small case. What a great way to suffocate.
Oh dear, you might be thinking of contortionists in the circus, Mr. Sholmes.
This whole thing is turning into a circus.
Mr. Naruhodo, something's occurred to me about Mr. Sholmes' deductions just now. I think his powers of observation are, well, magical. His eyes cut to the heart of a matter almost instantly. It's just where he directs his attention and his logic that seem a little off.
Super neurodivergent, got it. Your idea of a little may be a little off itself, Mrs. Susato.
It's just one or two key words in his deductions that seem to let him down. So I was wondering if we might perhaps tactfully switch them for alternatives. What do you think?
Huh. Switch some keywords in his deductions.
Yes, but very tactfully. I feel sure if we could do that, we'd unlock the true genius of Mr. Sholmes' great deduction.
Precisely the thought that was going on through my own mind. This man is a lot of work. At times, I wonder how anyone puts up with me. It's not that funny, man. Ah, and you, my good fellow. Sorry? Take a moment to look at your wrists. My wrists?
You didn't let him... Oh. Ah! What? Where are your handcuffs?
Huh? How? What? How did... I fear that they may have hindered your ability to follow me in our dance of deduction. I don't believe it.
Mr. Sholmes, you are a marvel.
And don't worry, I shall restore the shackles to your wrists when we are finished. I'm not worried. In fact, I'd rather stay like this.
So basically, they don't want to make different animations for this with the handcuffs versus this later without them.
Correct. And also, I mean, you aren't going to be handcuffed in, like, the courtroom. They wouldn't handcuff you for that. You'd want your hands. So let us begin.
And it's a black quill.
Oh, I guess they did. Okay, well, he's weird because he was already convicted. And also, he's insane. And he breaks those things every single case. Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. So, the doobie's looking Russian, Mr. Roylett. Obviously what catches the eyes in the first place. Well, that's the enormous pair of shears in your hand. Now we ask ourselves, what could you possibly want with such an implement? The answer, of course, is staring us in the face. You were on the verge of using the shears to cut away your copious beard. That's what the question mark's about.
I'm not sure. Would you really use shears like that to cut off a beard?
Doubt that's something I'll ever have to worry about. Doesn't quite sit lucky. Doesn't quite sit right with me, though.
It doesn't seem to be sitting right with Mr. Roylett either.
Which means I suppose that the deduction's wrong.
Let's try to switch a keyword here, Naruhodo-san, and see if it helps matters.
Alright, but how?
I think we should start by taking a long, hard look at Mr. Roylett.
What if it's really his beard that he intended to use those shears on?
Exactly. If we do manage to find something that seems to fit the sense of Mr. Sholmes' deduction better...
Then why?
Then I'll leave the rest in your capable hands, Naruhodo-san.
Why am I the one to do something about this? Well, anyway, let's see if there's anything we could even use to switch around in that last sentence. What exactly was Mr. Roylett going to use those enormous shears for? Well, if a Dorley mug is to be believed, the coat buttons.
Oh, I think it's the...
Thick
okay.
hat? So, buttons, the beard, the hat. I don't think I'm allowed to look at anything else. Alright.
Well...
So the thick hat or the buttons?
I'm gonna say the buttons. I don't know why.
I don't know why I'd need to cut up the hat.
Right? I mean, I don't know why he
Have
would
we
need to
seen
do
a
either.
button before?
I feel like we have, but maybe we haven't.
Would you need an enormous pair of shears to cut a coat button off, though? You could just rip that shit off.
Okay, so then try the hat.
It is a very thick hat, isn't it?
Ah, that's the secret, you see, Naruhodo-san. Don't you know?
Secret? What?
Well, before we left Japan, I took some time to study various foreign countries. Russia is a land of unimaginable cold. And a thick hat is the secret to keeping warm. Without one, I read that your brain would freeze. That was just one of many fascinating snippets of information in Oh Mother, Not Russia.
I think maybe you picked the wrong book there.
Right.
Oh. Why do we have a different angle now? I get maybe the coat buttons? I don't know. Alright.
Are you looking at the buttons on his coat?
Could it be that Mr. Roylott was planning to cut these off?
Oh, why?
Well, when you're wearing thick gloves, it can be very hard to undo buttons.
Then couldn't you just take off your gloves first?
So he was going to use the scissors to cut his gloves off then.
I want you to take a deep breath and look at this from a fresh perspective, Naruhodo-san.
Well, I think she's angry. So you do just travel down his body.
Damn.
Alright, well, we haven't looked at the beard yet.
It really is a very full beard, isn't it?
Yeah, although according to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Roylat was about to cut it off. I still think that he looks nothing like the man pictured in the newspaper article, though. The apparently merciless revolutionary, villain Bolshevik.
So if he wasn't going to cut off his beard, presumably he was going to cut something else.
Yeah, we need to look at this from a fresh perspective and try to work out what. Can I, like, rotate his body? Ow.
Oh.
What the fuck? What be all this? Golden locks.
Oh wait, is
he a Pokemon?
No, I think he might be the ballerina.
Oh.
It's like a fake beard.
Well, now I feel happy that I let you play this character. What the?
I mean,
this?
it would also be fitting for you to play.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
It looks like a cascade of stunning golden locks.
No. The color's not the point. The point is, what's it doing on the back of Mr. Roylat's head? How's it growing out from underneath his thick black hair?
Well, yes, that's true. So it's stunningly beautiful and stunningly surprising.
Something's definitely not right here.
Okay, yes! Yeah, I think.
You are on the verge of using those shears to cut away the golden locks you sport. Indeed. You have identified the precise details intended to expose. Such lush, golden hair certainly does not befit an old man.
Ugh.
You're not a man at all. You're not a man at all. You're a woman, and judging from the length and sheen of your hair, one so very much in her youth.
Oh no. If only I had managed to cut my hair, no one would have suspected.
The question that begged is this. Why would you desire to rid yourself of those magnificent locks? Once again, the answer's plain. We have clear evidence to shed light in the matter. So I want to let you know that he spun behind Roylat. He saw the locks.
And just didn't notice.
I think he's fucking with us.
I think he's just stupid.
He might be stupid. He might also be fucking with us. Sure needs no further clarification. The evidence that reveals your true identity is the article about the revolutionary. Well, that was a shock. I had no idea that old man was really a young woman in disguise, did you? I guess... What? Why are you staring at me like that?
Yes, it was a surprise. Naruhodo-san, you're enjoying this, aren't you?
Sorry.
You look like you're in your element as you dance around the room deducing the facts with Mr. Sholmes.
Well, you know, I'm just doing what we
do.
I'm not really having fun or anything, Babaka. This is strictly business, not strictly
Yes, I understand. Say no more.
Well, anyway, let's focus on the next part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction, shall we? The evidence that he picked out doesn't fit the facts at all now.
No, that's true. Given that Mr. Roylat is actually a woman.
Exactly. He, or rather she, can't possibly be this merciless revolutionary.
I suppose it's because the deduction as a whole has to take a different direction now.
Yeah.
Let's switch the evidence for something else. Something that fits the facts as we understand them.
For some reason, this woman needed to try to hide her true identity. I feel as though I've either read or heard about a young woman in a situation like this recently. Alright, I'll do my best. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yes!
The evidence that reveals your true identity is that, of course, the article of the ballerina. That's right, you've hit the nail on the head. Renowned prima ballerina of the Nova Viche Ballet disappears from Shanghai. it would appear we are finally able to address you by your true name. Yeah, because your true identity is that of the Nova Beach Ballet Prima Ballerina, Miss Nikolina Pavlova. Oh my god, she's dead. $15. Look at her eyes. That is like an unusual call for Ace Attorney.
You're right. My real name is Nina. I mean, Nikolina Pavlova. But please, I beg you, don't tell anyone.
A ballerina on the run. Solved. Which means the Russians inside the case. Now as for my second conclusion.
You caught right onto it.
You are at this very moment on the brink of committing a most grievous crime. And also you're inside of a case. And proof of this crime, over there. Oh yes, Miss Pavlova. Taken unawares, people have a propensity to let their eyes stray, you see.
Ah!
And I assure you, these eyes speak so much more eloquently and honestly than the mouth. The answer we seek lies where the furtive glance falls. The proof of your crime sits before our very eyes. Yes, that traveling case. This woman's the ballerina, and she's right in front of our eyes. So clearly she can't be inside the traveling case as well.
No, that's right. It seems she wasn't abducted at all.
In which case, what is the crime this young woman is apparently committing? Huh. I can see I'm going to have to step in and fix the great detective's mistake again.
You seem to look pleased, Naruhodo-san. Do you like the idea of another chance to dance around with Mr. Sholmes?
Stop it. Anyway.
Kind of fruity.
There must be something else here that shows what this woman's up to. I wouldn't know.
Underage drinking. Don't forget you can turn the camera.
That I can. Well, waste basket.
As well check the basket.
That
Oh,
looks a little
tiara.
weird.
Well, that. Oh yeah, there was a stolen tiara.
It's literally glowing.
Yes!
The tiara. The proof of your crime is surely this tiara.
Ah!
I believe this tiara is worn on stage by dancers in the Nova Beach Ballet, is it not? Mouse cursor right in the middle of the screen. Is it not? Indeed, it would appear to be identical to the tiara pictured here in this newspaper article. And if the reporting's to be believed, it's an item worth 20,000 rubles. We already joked. Oh yeah, that whole sequence. In summary, the crime you've committed is theft.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah, you've left your ballet troupe unlawfully taking their precious tiara with you.
Ah! I have no one, no family, no friends. I am all alone, and I need money. But I did not steal the tiara. It was a present from, how do you say, an Earl of Prussia. It belongs to me.
This girl's only 15 years old, and she's run away all by herself. She must have been extremely lonely.
Second.
Yep.
Alright, I will tell you everything. There is no point in hiding it now.
Come, come. Let us not be hasty.
What?
There remains one unsolved mystery about you.
Mystery? What do you mean?
You have staunchly refused to open this traveling case of yours in our presence. It is reasonable to conclude, therefore, that there exists some reason why you wished it to remain closed. Is that not so, Miss Pavlova? My dear girl, there's no sense in playing games with me. Nothing escapes my attention. Indeed, I have a very good idea of the contents of your case, even before I've even laid eyes on them. Dear me, we are not well suited for a life of crime, are we? Your careless coup d'etat betrays you. Once again, we need to only follow your furtive glance to find the answer. Yes, the reason why you refuse to open your case is written in the books on the shelf. He's completely changed tack with his deduction now.
I think Mr. Sholmes is adapting his logic to the changing circumstances, don't you?
Maybe, but why has he suddenly brought the bookshelf into all this? It's just a wild guess, surely.
Oh, do you think so?
Well, it doesn't really seem likely that the reason why this young woman doesn't want to open her case would have been written in a book that doesn't even belong to her.
Yes, that's true, but still. Miss Pavlova certainly did cast her eyes in that direction. I noticed it myself.
There has to be a reason why she won't open her case. And it must be somewhere in the same area, if that's where her gaze was involuntarily drawn.
I agree. That's the only answer.
Whatever she has hidden inside that case should be revealed by following her gaze in the direction of the bookshelf. It's the statue of the man.
I wonder what the warning says. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria.
Oh, she has a pet.
Oh, yeah.
Rules of passage, no pets.
Yeah. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
It was exactly the same notice in our cabin, too. I wonder what happens if you break the rules.
Oh dear, I'm sure the punishment would be severe, Naruhodo-san. You'd probably be left to drift in the freezing cold ocean. Or shut inside a tiny wardrobe for days on end.
So I've actually been serving time for weeks now, have I?
Well, you've been, you know, serving Kazuma's punishment for bringing a pet.
Yeah.
Yes!
Boink. Yeah. The reason why you refuse to open your case? It's written in the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabin, and pets are also strictly forbidden. Inside that case of yours is something forbidden from carriage on this vessel. That's the real reason why you refuse to open it, thus revealing its contents. As we've seen, the trunk wobbles from time to time, but no weapon or other dangerous item would move of its own accord. Which leaves but one possibility, Miss Pavlova, inside your traveling case. Look at these fruits. Is the last item as forbidden in the vessel's rules of passage. A pet! Oh no, her collar cuts through her hair.
Wow, 0 out of 10 game.
Imagine designing all these cool clothes for your character to wear, and then, like, their cape cuts through their fucking axe.
Yeah.
So clearly you aren't who you said you were.
No, I am not Grimsby Roylat. My real name is Nikolina Pavlova. Everything you said was correct.
Hey, I know we were making jokes about the circus earlier, but stay far away from any place that has a circus in its name, by the way. No reason.
What, really? I was going to travel to America and
No.
start a circus,
No,
and
no.
I really like you fruits, so I was gonna name it about the berry.
No. Don't go there. You've
What?
absconded during one of your ballet company's performances in order to escape your homeland. Later that same night, you stole aboard this vessel. Which couldn't have been easy. The Buria is a huge steamship with a vast crew. Could she really have snuck on board without being noticed? In order to obscure your true identity, you somewhat recklessly took the guise of an older gentleman. And you intended to sever all links with your past by severing your long hair. It just took you 2 weeks to do it. Oh no, is it because we just stopped by that island?
That or it's like she wasn't gonna do it unless she had to, which was like us barging in. Something like that, I don't know.
Yet to a woman, hair is no trifling matter. My personal recommendation is to leave well enough alone. So if it was just you, about to cut off your own hair, who was it that let out the scream we heard from outside the cabin? The veritable tinkling of a bell. Why, none other than this young lady, naturally. Like a full set of pipes, if you ask me.
I was so scared when I ran away in Shanghai. I was sure they would come looking for me. That's why I decided to, how do you say, disgust myself? So no one would recognize me. As a result, you transformed yourself into that questionable old man? I see.
I'm glad no one corrects her.
I put on the fur hat and fake beard. Then, just before you came in here, I saw in the newspaper. Right on the page, there was a picture of me. I was so frightened, I couldn't stop from screaming. I knew that if I didn't change my appearances completely, they would find me. So I decided to cut all my hair as fastly as possible. I picked up the scissors in my hand and...
At that precise moment, we walked in through the annoyingly unlocked cabin door.
Things happen like that sometimes, don't they?
Things do indeed happen like that from time to time. Are those two even talking about the same thing?
There's just one more thing I'd like to know.
Is that a reference to something?
I don't know. Yeah, no idea.
Maybe that's a reference to, like, 999, or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh, maybe. What exactly do you have inside your traveling case? You were right. It is my dear friend inside. My only friend in the whole world. Please, don't tell anyone. If the captain finds out, if you say to any of the crew...
Your secret's safe with us, I assure you. But in return, you must tell us in as much detail as you can muster about the events of last night.
Yes, alright. I will tell you. Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Wasn't it something Mr. Sholm's great deduction? Or wasn't it something Mr. Sholm's great
It
deduction?
was certainly something, yes. I'm just not entirely sure what. But at least Miss Pavlova has agreed to tell us what she knows, and that's incredible. And I really wish that she was the one that was named Miss Stroganoff, because I think that would have been funnier.
Indeed, it is incredible.
It would have been funnier.
Ah, and one more thing. Oh, yeah.
Observe your wrists.
My... Yeah, they didn't want to make another animation for him spinning around the room.
To be fair, he couldn't really do those poses in handcuffs. Ah, your hands are cuffed again.
So not only does he spin around and dance with me, but he also cuffs me.
Damn.
But how?
True to my word, I've restored your shackles.
Ugh, when and why?
There is still a shadow of guilt cast over you, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sorry to say, it can't be helped at the moment.
Can't it? Really?
Anyway, let's listen to what Miss Pavlova has to say. I can't go on not knowing. I have to find out what the speckled band that Kazuma-sama wrote about in his diary really was.
Twas a snake. Oh, wow. That was
Okay,
fast.
guess we're done here. Bye.
Yeah, it was just a snake. That was it. Hey, what happened last night, by the way? Did you know that someone was killed in the cabin next door to this one last night?
One of the crewmen told me this morning when I was eating breakfast.
The man who died, he was a friend of mine.
Oh,
That's why we're trying to find out what happened. Did you, notice anything unusual last night?
have you heard a strange noise, for example? Perhaps people talking.
Perhaps the ship was absorbed in a wild tempest. Perhaps its steam engine exploded.
Perhaps everyone on board would have noticed if that had happened.
Miss Pavlova, is there anything you can tell us? I don't know. I'm sorry, but all I could think about last night was what I had done and whether they would find me. I didn't notice anything that was happening around me.
Oh. I see. Guess we're never gonna get... I hope we never get to see what's inside the case.
I mean, it's a
Run away.
snake, obviously, right?
Maybe. You've run away from the ballet
Speckled
company,
band.
haven't you? I'd be surprised if a snake could shake that box.
It's a big snake, maybe.
You've run away from your ballet company, haven't you? The Nova Viche Ballet?
Yes. I am traveling to Great Britain, and from there I want to go to America to start, as I was saying, the berry circus. I will never do that again. I want to forget everything about the ballet. I will start a new life. You know, the circus is very different from ballet.
My headcanon, she lives for 2 days in America, says this sucks, goes to Germany instead, and creates the Von Karma bloodline. Just do that. You have, like, similar
I see,
color
I
and hair,
see.
maybe. Maybe. I don't know how many characters are going to be a reference to other old characters. I'm assuming
Probably
there's
not
going to be
too
an Edgeworth
many.
coming in soon. In fact, I think I know who the Edgeworth is coming in soon.
You wish to forget. A challenging proposition. When you have that striking tiara as a reminder.
But the tiara is mine. I need it to live.
Comfortably.
I have no money of my own. The Nova Viche Ballet gives us only a little food and water, and we must dance all over the world.
It's kind of fucked up.
I had to run away. I had no choice. If I stayed, it would have killed me.
I hit the continue button, but instead I unmuted myself, blowing my nose.
Ah, great. I didn't hear it, so it's fine.
Ah, good.
So you ran away to protect yourself? Yes, and the crew of this ship, they have all been kind to me. They let me come on board, and they said I could hide in this cabin.
If that's indeed the truth, Miss Pavlova, it creates a most intriguing conundrum.
Yes, it does. What do you think about it, Mr. Naruhodo?
Me? Oh, well, yeah, of course. I think we should hear Miss Pavlova's explanation. To what conundrum? I'm not sure, but, Go to friend. No. Go in order.
Eventually, like, if you did that like 2 more times, I was gonna get mad.
Miss Pavlova, allow me to pose you a riddle. It's because it appeared first. That one was a new one. So
You
it
go
hurts my
top down.
brain. I know.
According to this newspaper, it was only yesterday that you absconded from the ballet.
It was yesterday that she hopped on.
Now that being the case, it must have been last night that you boarded this vessel.
No money, but got a first class.
Well,
spot?
she said the crewman let her hide in here,
Oh, okay.
but that could have been a lie.
However, the SS Burrier stopped by no port last night. Ah,
Mm.
okay.
That's it, of course.
So how is it, pray, that you came aboard?
Caca, I flew.
I hope the thing in the box is like a flying bird and it carried her.
Now that I think about it, the crewman outside the cabin acted very strangely when we mentioned that.
It's just like a cuckoo.
It was just after we asked him about when the occupant of this cabin came aboard.
That is not your business. Yeah, you're right. He did seem to be hiding something.
An angel descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to the stage.
Sorry? What was that?
Opening line for my novella. It is how the Russian newspapers described one of my performances. And that is how I came here too. I descended from the heavens, because I am an angel.
Considering English isn't your mother tongue, your description is very vivid?
Mr. Sholmes once said, I never can resist a touch of the dramatic. It seems Miss Pavlova is the same.
A genius descended from the heavens, bringing grace and beauty to detection. Words once said about myself. A quote from a wonderfully extravagant advertisement. For the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, in fact.
Yes, yes, Mr. Showy. Hey, could I get that advertisement thing, but like anytime he advertises his book that you have? So it just skips over that dialogue for free? If he's just advertising his book?
Wait. I don't know what I don't get it.
A
I don't know what you're
YouTube
talking
thing
about.
that skips over ads? So anytime he advertises
Oh, sponsor block. Yeah.
his book? Yeah, that'd be nice. Anyway, it doesn't look like Miss Pavlova is gonna tell us what really happened. Anyway, what's up with your friend? So, the friend you mentioned is inside your traveling case, right?
I don't think animals are allowed on board according to the rules of passage. Oh, please don't tell any of the crew.
Anyway, I think the actual way she came here is that, they don't know planes exist, I guess. So she probably skydived onto the ship from
They
a
have to
plane.
know planes exist.
This
I know
is
that
the
this game's really...
1900s.
Yeah, hold on.
Like, planes started to be, like, used barely in combat in World War I. In combat, barely. And that's, like, the front of...
Wright Brothers flight was 1903. There's no shot. There's no shot.
Maybe like a a hot air balloon would also work.
Maybe like a balloon or a blimp or something.
I don't know how you would have flown over to the ship, though. I don't know. We'll find out.
If they found my precious... Oh, sorry. If they found my precious...
Then the burly Russians would bestir
The Lord
themselves.
of the Rings joke.
Yeah. There was a golem-like creature in that game We Were Here Forever that I played with Ali yesterday.
Wow.
The burly Russians would bestir themselves in unison to throw you and your case overboard, no doubt.
Ah!
So reassuring, Mr. Sholmes.
But what sort of pet is your friend? A little puppy? It is, isn't it? Like Kazuma had.
He didn't have a puppy. Oh. Maybe an adorable little rabbit?
Oh god, have you seen that video? Where the... it's like the lady's like, I was his little rabbit. And it's like, did he call you that? She's like, no.
No, I have not seen that.
Hold on.
You credit Russia as a land with small rabbits, do you?
Oh, don't they have small rabbits there then? You may well ask. I have no idea. All right, let's see this. This will be.
Can you tell me what your relationship with Donald Sterling is?
I'm Mr. Sterling's right-hand arm, man. I'm Mr. Sterling everything. I'm his confidant, his best friend, his silly rabbit.
His what?
His silly rabbit.
His silly rabbit?
Yes.
Is that what he calls you?
No.
Barbara Walters. 60 minutes. May well ask.
Yeah, I have no idea what the context was, but
That was pretty funny. Huh. You two are miserable bunglers when it comes to understanding the nature of young ballerina's friends. Isn't it obvious? It must be a chicken.
you were saying, really?
I think it's a cuckoo. If this is Legend of
pretty
Zelda, it flew her onto the ship.
I'm pretty sure it's the snake.
Consider the benefits. A rousing wake-up call, daily fresh eggs, and when adversity strikes, it could satisfy the needs of sustenance. So you'd eat your friends. I'll remember that. It wasn't a chicken, but it's a cuckoo. Well, it would appear this friend's identity is a closely guarded secret not to be revealed. Yes. Tip tip. She obviously doesn't quite trust us yet. There's something I should like to show her, I think. Maybe she might be able to see it shed some light on it. Do you want to see my badge that I don't have? I have a student badge.
You have a pin.
Hey, can I show you this? I'm actually a university student from the Empire of Japan, you see.
That means nothing to me.
Oh, why would it?
Mr. Naruhodo, if you're determined to flaunt your Yumei badge, at least choose a Japanese person who might recognize it.
Hey, Mr. Sato, can I show you this?
Maybe later.
Oh, I could show Inspector Hosanaka too. Russian crew can't read it. Maybe this? Sure. Hey, this is a diary of my friend who passed away.
His diary.
Yeah, and he wrote in it last night before he died. Something a little unusual, it reads. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. Then a few minutes later, 1:35 a.m. It looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
A speckled band? I don't understand.
It's strange, isn't it? But the ventilator he mentions joins this cabin, you see. It's up there on the wall.
In other words, this cabin and the victim's cabin are connected together.
Oh.
Oh. Miss Pavlova, has something occurred to you? Does the speckled band the victim mentioned mean something to you? Or the whistling sound, perhaps? No. I don't know anything.
No.
Excuse me, Mr. Roylott.
Yes, what?
Wow, she's fast. Captain would like to speak with you. You must come to Captain's quarters at once, please.
Alright, I will come now.
Please put these scissors down. You look like you want to stab somebody.
No.
What?
You must leave, now.
Oh, no, it's fine. Don't mind us.
Yes, please, don't worry of yourself, Mr. Roylott. Get out!
The passenger said out, or do you want me throw you out? Looks like we'll have to leave investigating this cabin until later.
What a pity.
We didn't get to see shit in the cabin. And so we lost our chance. Having still not managed to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin, we were unceremoniously chased out. That is to say, we were quite literally picked up and thrown into the passageway outside. I didn't think Stroganoff would be an enemy. This is awful. I feel betrayed on a visceral level. The 9th of January. Still in the Buria. First class cabin. In the passageway.
I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that.
I wish we'd managed to find some clues as to what that speckled band might be.
We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past that sailor guarding the door.
He's clearly glaring at us as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a moment.
What is it?
Well, what happened to our great detective friend? Where'd he go?
Oh yes, he's completely disappeared.
When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. Okay. Well, I guess we just go back to Cosmo's cabin unless something has changed out here.
I'd look around for sure.
I could, like, talk to Stroganoff.
Yeah, I think you should talk to him.
What's up, buddy? I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. What? Why you look at me like that? You want something? Huh? Maybe. You want me to throw you out again, huh? Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I have to throw you out, I'll show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Understand. Maybe I should steer clear of him until he's forgotten my face.
I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san.
First class cabin number 1. Yeah, that's our cabin.
Not our cabin. Okay.
Yeah, it's the same stuff. Anyway, what if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues?
Oh, this is new dialogue.
Yes.
Yes, we should probably find him and ask. So he might be in the cabin then.
Probably. Looks like they're still investigating in here.
Yes, on that subject, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed.
What do you mean unscathed?
Surely you haven't forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you.
Oh, yeah. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He's gonna come in the room with, like, a lot of blood in his mouth.
Yeah.
Might have some new information for us. You never know. Okay. Do it just go back out? I guess maybe I check over here?
Yeah, maybe it lets you leave the area now. That door leads to the second class area.
It's locked. I can't open it.
Hold on, can you check the history? I want to see like exactly what they were saying about Hosonaga. I think he's in the. I think he was in the room
Oh, was he? Am I blind? Okay. No, well, that's
because he's in the sailor. Because he's in the sailor outfit.
Yeah.
No one wants to let the murderer escape.
Yeah. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that.
Oh,
yeah,
there he is.
Yeah. Oh no. He's just gonna be the punching bag. Ah, you're back. Inspector?
What happened to you? Your face is...
Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Internal bleeding. Hemorrhages.
Just
Made by a bear, maybe. When I told the captain I'd give you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash. He must have decided against throwing me overboard. So it was nothing, really. Looks like he wasn't joking when you say he lays his life on the line if he had to.
Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin.
Yeah, so I understand.
Oh.
I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a little while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, well that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found. Yes. Let's do it. I like this guy. He's so nice. He's just a genuine boy. What? Nikolina Pavlova. She's in the cabin next door? Oh, so you do know who she is. Please, what self-respecting ballet fan would know that graceful angel? Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us that the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case, at least. Huh? How? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him.
Inspector, has your investigation in here proved fruitful?
If I'm honest, there's very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job.
Oh, I see.
Ah, there is one thing, though. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what?
Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please.
Hey, by the way, did you ask the captain if we could, if I could use the bed now instead of climbing in the wardrobe? No. No, you're going back in the wardrobe. So anyway, what's this about the Great Detective? What's this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical officer has finished his examination of the body and managed to obtain the report. Oh. Kazuma's post-mortem report, huh?
Kazuma-sama.
So, what was the cause of death? Damage to the cervical vertebrae is what's written in the report.
His neck was broken.
Yes, it would seem so. There was no obvious wounds or any other sign of injury. So at first, I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in the system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as of yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, Something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see.
All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left.
Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. If it might be useful, you're welcome to have it.
Really? Are you sure?
Yes, it's fine. I trust you.
Aw.
After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I?
Ding. I don't think there's going to be any... Oh, it's New World poison.
Oh, Mr. Solms was here, was he?
Yes, he seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept around on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored.
Did he say anything at all?
Well, actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said.
Shoe polish? What he meant?
It was when he was over there, by the piece of broken glass. Do you see it?
Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think?
Yes, that must be it.
How can Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish?
Well, that leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. Though he did lather his tongue down to it and start furiously licking it. So that was probably
The
why.
hell?
Why'd you describe it that way?
No reason.
What is it, Susato-san?
Well, Kazuma-sama was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue.
Dark tan. Sort of dark brownish red, then.
Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him.
Oh! Does that mean that this mark was made by the polish in Kazuma's shoes as they scuffed on the floor? That had to have been so annoying when, like, shoe polishing was, like, really common.
Yeah.
That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewmen's eyes are boring into the back of my head.
Yeah, that might be for the best. Thank you.
Ahem.
Poor Inspector. You look exhausted.
Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Sogi-san. It was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning.
A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing, too.
I'm guessing someone pulled the emergency thing, and a bunch of people, like, clunked their heads against the walls.
Maybe. Like, everyone just got knocked unconscious by it?
Yeah, or at the very least, anyone who, like, you know, we would know.
So this ventilator joins Miss Pavlova's cabin.
Yes, that's right.
Just a few minutes before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. A speckled band, as he described it.
If only Miss Pavlova had been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are.
Yeah. I wonder if she's telling us everything, though.
I'm not sure.
She probably does have the snake. I know people aboard would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right with me.
So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilt onto the floor. And they spell the Russian word for wardrobe.
It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruhodo-san, as you were sleeping in there.
But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think?
Well, either way, one fact remains. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, or word, in Russian.
Even weirder that he would have been able to write anything with his neck snapped. Which begs the question of who did write it. It really is. Nope.
It really is such a beautiful color, this glass.
Looks like wherever it was had broken cleanly in two. But the other half is nowhere to be seen.
And then there's the brick-colored mark.
Which is shoe polish, according to that great detective you seem to know all about.
I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes.
Maybe. But what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else?
Because he's a great detective, of course.
That's hardly the reason, is it? Yeah, what if Kazuma just, like, did a poo-poo on the floor?
Ew.
This is where Kazuma spent his final moments writing in his diary, before poo-pooing on the floor.
1:23. Shut up. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill.
Looking at his writing here on the page, it's almost impossible to believe that he's gone.
Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words, I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruhodo-san.
We will.
There's shit on the ground to the right, also.
Yeah. All the books provided for passengers occupy this cabin neatly arranged on the shelf.
They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember.
Oh yeah, and you tied them up, didn't you? You ruined the crime scene, Susato.
You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage.
But it really wasn't me who knocked them over, you know?
Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Oh, I thought it was letting you. Never mind.
There's the rules again. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria.
Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
So by bringing her pet on board, Mespas Volova had broken the rules. Some Cosma bringing me aboard and broke the rules.
She called it her friend, didn't she?
Yeah, although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet.
I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in her cabin.
Well, friend. There's more to that than it seems, I think.
I wonder if you just need to leave the room.
Probably. I guess I could talk to this guy. Hey, Yo, where did you go? Oh, sorry. I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, I mean, Seaman Hosonaga did, sir. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into a barn and throw him in cold room. Let's come back to guarding the door.
I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account.
He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a steak at Le Carnival.
That could be a very long time from now, Naruhodo-san. Oh, maybe you have to present stuff to Hosonaga. Because you probably can't leave.
Hey, buddy. No.
Wait, click
No.
on him?
That just brings up the examine.
But do you get the button to present?
No.
You don't. Okay.
I can look at the court record this way, but...
But there's no present. Okay, okay.
Alright,
Yeah,
we're outta
try.
here.
Oh, let's see. Okay. Ah, look, Naruhodo-san. Seaman Stroganoff has gone.
Strong enough?
The burly Russian sailor who's always crossing his arms and glaring at us.
All these Russian names are impossible to remember. Are we being haunted right now? Did you hear that? Sounds like someone's singing.
Okay.
Tra-la-la, lirry-lirry-lay. No thanks.
This caroling. I know that lark-like voice.
Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us.
Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin while we can and investigate.
Definitely. Before this stringy knot crewman comes back.
It's Stroganoff, not Stringy Knot.
Tell you, boys don't know it.
Knots aren't usually stringy anyways.
Well, she has taken the pet. And some different clothes. Actually, no, she put her clothes back in. Probably from the case. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Hey, Susato-san. Oh, where's she gone? What the? Hey, what are you doing? Those are her private things.
There's no moment to waste, Naruhodo-san. You must investigate as quickly as we can.
I suppose you're right. For Cosmo's sake.
Not just for Kazuma-sama.
What do you mean?
It can't be long now until we arrive at port, in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there.
Really?
We must solve this case, Naruhodo-san, by ourselves if we have to.
Yeah, we will. She trusts me. I don't trust you.
Naruhodo-san, are you there?
Sorry? I'm right here. Yes. Hi. Why?
Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe, but I wasn't looking. There's no place like home.
Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know. But that dancing you were doing earlier.
Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes.
Great blanket. I was rather hoping we would find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding in there, but no such luck.
Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open.
It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there.
Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret.
Because you're not allowed to have animals aboard the SS Buria. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now?
I suppose every cabin has a waste paper basket.
Can we have a little look inside and see what's been thrown away?
Naruhodo-san! It's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know.
Oh no, she's a Stardew NPC. Those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now.
However, these are special circumstances, I think.
Exactly, we have no choice. What if we get a salad from it? That's like free heart points with what's her name? Leia.
Leah.
There's hardly anything in here at all.
Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. Did you ever play the Sonic the Hedgehog visual novel that they did for April Fools? Gotcha. That'd be fun to do sometime.
I'd do that. I don't know Sonic as much, but I still think I could get some fun out of it.
Mm-hmm.
There are just a few books on the desk. Nothing else by the looks of it.
Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all.
That's true. What kind of book she likes to read?
Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys
Oh
reading
my goodness, she flips fast.
books written in Russian.
Thanks. I think I probably already knew that.
I saw that coming from a mile away, but it was still pretty funny.
Yeah.
It's rude to ask too much of people, Naruhodo-san. Kindly remember that.
She hasn't flipped me in a bit. That's a good sign. All these books have been toppled over together. Look, every single one.
Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though.
It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door. Or it was until you fixed it. In Cosmo's cabin.
Perhaps. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase.
I don't know. Would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from her ballet company?
Alright then. Keep your secrets. It must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked them all over in a fit of rage?
Shit, you got it. How are you so smart? Not everything bad that happens on the ship is because of me, you know.
Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight again in here, too. I don't like seeing things in disarray.
I hope she does this for the entirety of the game.
Yeah.
Just completely ruins multiple crime scenes by just, like, resetting shit. But probably not changing anything. Probably. It might even be an achievement.
That'd be funny.
So this ventilator connects to Cosmo's cabin next door.
Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room.
Well, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin will notice and raise the alarm.
Or the occupants of both cabins would die of gas poisoning.
Huh. Well, that is a possibility. Anyway, last night, Cosmo wrote that he saw a speckled band coming out of this ventilator. There's one of these next to the bed in Cosmo's cabin, too.
Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist.
She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug, too.
No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come.
We don't want them to. We're trying to investigate in secret. Dish.
I wonder what this little saucer is doing on the floor.
Yeah, what's dish? Yeah, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately.
Ah, do you think there could be a leak in the roof just above here?
What? A leak?
Is this ship quite safe?
I'm sure that even if there was a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink.
No, you're right. Of course you're right.
She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? These things are built to last. Iceberg proof.
It would seem this teapot is empty.
Huh. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people.
Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet? I mean, it could be either.
It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd lay it 1,000 to 1 on it.
You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruhodo-san?
Maybe I'm Russian. Super's definitely Russian in that case. I think that's I guess we could recheck this. Ah, yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Ah, yes, they're displayed in this cabin, too. Look. Yes, it's Berea's rule of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden.
I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of her case a secret after she read this. Her special friend, I mean.
I wonder where her friends have disappeared to by now. Probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine.
I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it overboard.
Oh, yeah. So do I. It was probably the murderer. This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that our cabin door does. The bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody could enter the cabin from outside.
Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it?
No, and the door's made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets or unbolting it from the outside.
And it seals up perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through a crack around the closed door either.
I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see why they suspect me.
You didn't get the bag in the bottom right.
I thought I tried to click on that. It gave me the cabinet
I think you get the wardrobe instead. Oh, it doesn't have
Nope.
a. Okay.
I can maybe present something, but I don't think that would be it.
No, I don't think you have like a conversation option.
No. No.
Possible that you have to leave. Yeah, I think we've gotten everything. So.
I didn't really gain anything from that.
Well, now it's like the snake is missing, and then you're gonna run into it somewhere. Go back to like, yeah, Cosmo's cabin. Nope. Okay.
Back in we go.
You do have to present something to Hosonaga. You didn't get anything in here, though.
I wasn't allowed to present anything to Osanaga.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I've checked pretty thoroughly.
Yeah?
Maybe she says something different if the bookshelf's organized. Neatly arranged on the shelf.
Yes, it's very unthinking to dance around inside the cabins.
Tell that to Miss Pavlova, not me.
Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Try, like, the drawers on, like, desk there. Are any of them, like, different?
Nope.
What about... Yeah, okay.
Could I, like, tab over even more? No. Can I, like, do some twisty shit? No.
Is it, like, the very bottom left? No.
I'm surprised that lantern doesn't have anything. It's, like, comically
Yeah.
large.
Mm-hmm. Cover all over the wardrobe. Hmm. That's a bed. Wait, hold on. Go back. No.
That counts as the wardrobe, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Well, it has a check mark anyways.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something we missed in the hallway. I don't know.
Maybe.
Or maybe like the door's unlocked now. If they would have, you know, brought notice to that, but...
Oh.
No.
That's probably a little weird.
Before we talk to him, I think this would actually be a good place to leave it.
Yeah. So I have time to forget what he sounds like next time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Options. And next time, we'll talk to this weirdo. And his unbreakable speckled band. Whatever that means. It's probably a snake.
Probably a snake.
No. Yes, I want to quit the game. There we go. Nice. I did it. I learned how to quit the game.
Nice.